We have been speaking with Mr. H.R. Khan, the just retired Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, who in his tenure has handled a variety of portfolios but basically was in charge of the bond market. Mr. Khan, I'll come back to the bond market, time permitting, but is the RBI completely satisfied that the $26 billion or money that will flow out when the FCNRB deposits mature will not cause problems in the FX market?
I would say we should be reasonably confident to handle this particular episode. But as you know, there is always known unknowns and unknown knowns. But my hunch is that so far the rupee liquidity is concerned, there should not be any problem. We will be able to handle. Forex liquidity is concerned, we have forex reserve we can handle. The problem possibly arises that what they have lent to the exporters banks and the exporters don't repay their problem. So but there are two safety valves. One is exporters will not keep on rolling over because they have also borrowed. And second is if there is a stability in the currency market and people don't take a bet that rupee is going to depreciate sharply,
yes,
I think there is no incentive for them to roll over. So I think barring a few banks here and there, overall basis I think one should not worry much.
Okay. Now, we were given to understand by the market that RBI would speak on a case-by-case basis to each bank to check their positions. All that is done?
I am not sure what has happened, but I believe that one-to-one talk has taken place and is taking place.
Okay, so there should not be much of a ripple even in the GSEC market because, okay, anyway, those were not SLR bonds. They were not backed by SLR. That was not a problem. Okay, the other issue that has cropped up lately on the external investment issue is Docomo threatening that they will take Reserve Bank and Government of India to court because they were promised a certain return by the Tatas and the Tatas are ready to pay, but the law doesn't allow, or RBI and government are... I think RBI was agreeable, but government has, rejected that suggestion. How does this get solved? Is this the only case? Will there be more people who will take you to court?
No, there are few cases. Let me give you a bit of background and history to it. What happened when we had clamped borrowing from abroad? So people, some of them brought debt in the garb of equity, and there was some element of assured return. So that is where we have to clamp it and clarify it. But as I told, there is, things remain dynamic. They don't remain frozen in time. There are, for example, PE investors. There are other investors whose horizon is different. And there are investors who will like to invest up to a point. Beyond that, they will exit. So if you want to create an enabling environment, so we thought that we should provide some exit clause, but without any assured return. That return could be linked to market determined rate. So that is why we have been in dialogue with government. Capital account transaction, both RBI and government have to agree.
Yes.
And we have an understanding of agreeing on the policy issues on capital account transactions. So we have been in dialogue with government that future cases wherever there is, because for example infrastructure or startup areas where people will like to commit up to a point, beyond that they will like to exit. So what sort of framework we should provide? One way is that you give them a market determined rate. At this rate you can exit.
You can withdraw.
So that is future. So for the past cases are concerned, my understanding is that there should be at least 24 cases of different variations of Tata Docomo.
So who can take the government
and because they have got into, because both the parties are involved.
Yes.
The fellow who invested and the fellow who was investee, both were knowing that it was not permitted. Of course, thanks to some of the lawyers or accountants who have advised the manner, they thought it is appropriate that it can be done. Some have assured 16% return, 18% return, and they have created structures in such a manner that there is some element of assured return. So that is we have to handle. So if you have to handle means how do we handle these old cases? Suppose people go to arbitration, people go to courts. So different judgments will come and we have to handle that issue. I think now I am out of RBI, but I believe both RBI and government are seized of that, I believe there should be some solution found to handle this thing, because it is unnecessarily vitiates the investment climate. What has happened, we have to move on.
Yeah.
And move on, let us provide a framework so that the past cases can also be...
What is your sense? Is the government, are the government and RBI moving towards creating new rules?
At least for the future cases,
yes,
there is a broad understanding. But the legacy cases, I think the matter is being discussed, and RBI is in touch with the government on that.
Okay, I'm out of time, Mr. Khan. I just, after your leaving RBI on the 4th of September, the governor as well leaves. What's your final thought in the last innings at RBI? Was that fulfilling? If you had to compare, if you had to give one comment on the Rajan era, what would that be?
You want my comment on the Governor Rajan's No. It is. I was fortunate to have worked with him, and in fact, in some other interviews also, I have said I have seen 3 governors with 3 R's. Reddy, Rao, and Rajan.
Yes.
And all the 3 have one great quality: they are a great gentleman. And all of them are focused on professionalism, a high level of integrity, and focus on data and analysis. And Dr. Rajan, a very interesting person in the sense he has been an academic, and normally one expects that academic will only be talking on higher plane.
Yes.
And more of theory, less of practice. But he was 24/7 hands-on person. So he had that both macro and micro picture in his mind, and not only monetary policy, which is when he is, whether it is bank regulation, supervision, or even the payment system, and a whole host of financial inclusion areas. So he is a real full service central bank governor, and a real hands-on man, and high level of professionalism and high level of integrity. And he is a great listener also. He had really 2 years.
Okay. That's about the best compliment I think a policymaker can get. Mr. Khan, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining me in this special show.
Thank you, Latha. Thank you.